Yep, you saw the title card, you saw the thumbnail, you saw the title, you saw everything. Welcome to Hexbots Hunters 2. Last time, it was Quarter Pounder who took the championship over Aquatic Disaster. But now we're back in the big year 2025 with a new cast and lineup of robots. We have Fabulous Geoff taking on Blacksmith in a rematch. Flippy against Beta, who will be the last time we see Beta, unfortunately. Mortal Enemy and Mecha Bowser, and Hardware against Demo Derby. And the bounty for today is Aquatic Disaster, the second placers of last year. Well, what are we sitting around for? We have our rematch with Fabulous Geoff and Blacksmith from the second series. 3, 2, 1, activate. Let the battle begin. Hexbots Hunters 2 begins now. Fabulous Geoff and Blacksmith. Both weapons up and firing. Blacksmith using their hammer, and Geoff up to speed with their hammer. They take off a piece of their back armor because of course they do. And they take off the wedge of Blacksmith! Wow! The weapon! We're talking Fabulous Geoff! A robot that has never been into the tournament, besides Series 2, but he wasn't fully in it because he lost. Got nowhere in any tournament, and here he is whipping a storm right now. Wowee. Fabulous Geoff removes the wedge on Blacksmith. This is a celebration to be had, ladies and gentlemen. And Blacksmith now can't really do a thing without their wedge. Well, how about that? Blacksmith herring the top of Fabulous Geoff. This is a rematch from Series 2. Or maybe Series 1. I think Blacksmith won the exchange because Fabulous Geoff probably just went up to the shelf or something. Speaking of which, we don't have the shelf. And we're in a different area because yeah, Fabulous Geoff and Blacksmith go near the wedge. They're doing very good. Fabulous Geoff still up to speed. Can he maybe do something else? It's looking pretty dominant so far, both in terms of aggression and damage. Although, unless if that other back piece or the top panel comes off, then it could probably lose. But Blacksmith is barely doing anything. A nice hit by Geoff once again. Fabulous Geoff, the rainbow tombstone of the series, and spoiler, Tombstone might come back next series. Geoff's weapon just stopped for a moment, but it's back up. And Blacksmith herring the top of Fabulous Geoff. That's some great damage and a nice knockback by Geoff once again. And that back piece came off. How lovely. Fabulous Geoff. It looks like they're having a lot of weapon issues trying to get up to speed. And they're on the wedge. Can they get free? Yes, they can. But can their weapon get back up? Yes, they can as well. Geoff, they're skirting with danger. However, they're on the wedge, and Blacksmith pinning him up. Fabulous Geoff. I thought we'd see them go through once and for all, but Blacksmith throws it in the waist, and Blacksmith gonna win the fight. What a fight, and Blacksmith goes through. I kind of felt for a scam after that fight. I thought Fabulous Geoff would have won that fight. He was doing well in the fight, and if it went to the judge's decision, he could have won that. But he didn't. He threw it away. Well, in any case, as Blacksmith goes on to the second round, we now have Flippy versus a cat-faced Beta. Let's begin. 3, 2, 1, activate. Let the battle begin. Flippy versus the cat-faced Beta. Well, mine's to say Flippy versus Beta. Beta using their front wedge to an advantage. Flippy, however, using the bucket scoop flipper to get underneath of them. So maybe that wedge isn't entirely flush with the floor for Beta. And Beta's hammer, well, of course, doing nothing. And there, oh, there goes the front. Well, I guess no more cat face. Yeah, we added a cat face to Beta because this is the last time Beta will probably be in the series. Because they said they have prolonged for something else, and a new robot might take the place for him. So, hopefully stay tuned for that. Flippy, they've been dominant in the past 2 seasons, getting the top seed. However, ever since they lost in that round of 32 fight with T-Bone, they have not... I mean, they've done well, but just not all that much. Like, they just escaped away to an 11th seed in the tournament, and now they're looking rather rusty right now. See what I did there. Beta using the hammer. It too has not been in a tournament. I mean, it was in Series 2, but lost to Assassin. And Flippy trying to do something. It gets... Flippy flips Beta onto the side wall, and I think that's gonna be it. Beta trying to get free, but it ain't gonna happen. Flippy takes the win and shows the power of that lifter once again. As the light dims down for Beta, we say a sad goodbye to it as well, it probably won't return to the series ever again. We will now remember the cat-faced Beta forever. Well, Flippy is going to go on to the second round to face Blacksmith. We next have Mortal Enemy against Mecha Bowser. This will be a great fight, so let's get started. 3, 2, 1, activate. Let the battle begin. Mortal Enemy and Mecha Bowser. Two incredibly dangerous spinners. Well, one is just a Spikosaurus knockoff from Temu. And the other is just a Robot Wars looking classic. Mecha Bowser and Mortal Enemy. Mortal Enemy having a bit of some drive trouble. I don't know why that is. Mecha Bowser stopping their shell. There goes the side panel off of Mecha Bowser. So that's a start. The robot from Kyoto still pushing around Mortal Enemy. So that's at least a start. Mortal Enemy slowly getting up to speed. There goes a hand and a spiked bracelet off of Mecha Bowser. So, what exactly is Mecha Bowser's plan here? I mean, from the evidence of Mortal Enemy barely moving, I guess their plan is just wait for them to slowly die and just get the win. I don't know, the team never told me, but we're just probably gonna have to roll with it. Mortal Enemy, up to speed. Mecha Bowser is barely working. Is this gonna be a problem? Maybe so. Mortal Enemy, the same thing. A nice hit again by Mortal Enemy. Mortal Enemy moving back. And Mecha Bowser, slowly but surely getting Mortal Enemy rams into the wall. And I think is stuck. And Mecha Bowser is as well. So whoever moves, it's Mecha Bowser that's moving, but he frees Mortal Enemy. Well, I guess great sportsmanship, but what exactly was Mecha Bowser's plan there? And they're both stuck again. Mortal Enemy gets free, and Mecha Bowser now moving. I thought he stopped for a moment, but I guess not. Never mind, I think Mecha Bowser just died. Mortal Enemy just gonna take the win out of pure something. Well, that just happened. Mecha Bowser just decides to die to go get some peaches. And Mortal Enemy goes to the second round. Now next up, this will definitely not bore you, as we got Demo Derby versus one of the newer rookies, Hardware. 3, 2, 1, activate. Let the battle begin. Rookies Hardware versus Demo Derby. Demo Derby have been really sucky in Series 3, so can they turn that around? Well, from the evidence of this, no. Hardware getting underneath of them and putting him on the wedge. Can they leave him there? No, Demo Derby gets free. He wants to seek revenge and hopefully do it in style. And this could be it. Hardware stuck on the wedge. Can they get free? Ooh, yeah. Hardware gets free. Did they just do that, or did Demo Derby help? I think they did it by themselves. Hardware pushing back. Demo Derby. Demo Derby lining that spinner. It's being pushed around by Hardware. Hardware's doing a very good job pushing around. They can't entirely lift Demo Derby. They can control them, so that will be at least a help when it goes to a judge's decision. Hardware slowly moving. Demo Derby being pushed into the screws. Well, I guess that's where we're going to go with the screws, even though they're not active because they died a long time ago. Hardware pushing Demo Derby up. Can they get him out? No. Okay. Demo Derby lining up for shot. Miss-ish. Demo Derby has not been the most impressive this season, and it must be said. I think they got like 0 points. I think maybe they had a knockout or a judge's decision loss. I can't remember. So yeah, it was that bad for them. They didn't even go to the third place bracket. Hardware made it to the championship. However, I think I don't know who he lost to. I think he lost to Hypershock. Hardware pushing up Demo Derby. This so far has been a great controlled battle for Hardware. Not so much for Demo Derby. They've been an absolute slug so far. And Hardware get themselves stuck. Is Demo Derby stuck as well? Hardware, yeah, they're moving. And Demo Derby just barely escapes out before the countdown could be called. Demo Derby trying to still aim. The only sort of visible damage they could do is knock off the top panel. But it doesn't look like they could do it here. And they've been hindered onto the screws by Hardware. This is looking decent so far for the both robots. Demo Derby have just kind of stopped in place. And Hardware just seems to be doing all the work. Yeah, I don't know what to say here. We're slowly but surely getting to a judge's decision, like toward the end of the fight. And Hardware looking rather fine and dandy so far. They've been the most intensive, and on the side goes Demo Derby, but it's too late. What a save by the bell. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a judge's decision. They awarded it unanimously to the winner, Hardware. Well, now we're on to the second round of our little bounty hunter tournament, as we got Blacksmith up against Flippy, and then the next, Mortal Enemy against Hardware. So let's begin. 3, 2, 1, activate. Let the bot battle begin. Blacksmith being pushed back at a start by Flippy, and they flip Blacksmith, but Blacksmith get back up. Blacksmith trying to do what's best, and they hit. Flippy flips him onto the side wall-ish. Could Blacksmith get free? They're trying. Flippy pushing him back. They still have some power in the flipper. So can they get Blacksmith out? Oh, they're trying. No, they can't. Blacksmith escapes away just before they got out. Flippy trying to continue the onslaught once again. Blacksmith's hammer seems to be stuck. And it looks like Flippy doesn't really have an answer. Blacksmith trying to get free, and they do. And Flippy, they're to capitalize, and Blacksmith lammering some big hits onto the sides. I'm pretty sure this was a rematch from the first series. And Blacksmith gets turned over again, and I think Flippy won the fight. I don't know. It's been like 2 years since that happened, roughly. Flippy attempting to keep Blacksmith there, but Blacksmith is almost getting out. He gets flipped over. Is that over Blacksmith? Oh no! Blacksmith cheats death once again, and is coming back on the onslaught against Flippy. Flippy's doing a pretty good job in terms of control, but what happened here? Why did Flippy's lifter just get stuck at one point? Well, that just happened. Flippy trying to move around, and it gets stuck up once again. And Blacksmith able to capitalize, aiming right into the mechanism of Flippy. Can Blacksmith do something? Well, I mean, they kind of reset the lifter, so, thank you, Blacksmith. You did Flippy a favor. Flippy just pushing back. Why isn't its lifter going down? Has the weapon stopped? Did the weapon just break on Flippy? I think it might have. So this will somewhat be a push battle. And Flippy, they're somewhat doing good. However, Blacksmith has the weapon advantage. And Flippy, at some point, their tracks might dislodge themselves. That's how they lost in a few fights of their own. And that one infamous fight against Wild Wings at one point. And Blacksmith pushing back Flippy. That's a great attack, but Flippy just controlling them. That's just the sensitive part. It's not always about aggression and damage. However, it's just the control. And we are going to a judge's decision as Flippy and Blacksmith will take on each other. Ladies and gentlemen, we have entered yet another judge's decision. We have a split decision. Judge 1 scored the battle for Flippy. Judge 2 scored the battle for Blacksmith. And Judge 3 scored the battle for the winner going to the final, Flippy. You could very well say that if you want, Blacksmith could have won the fight, but I mean, it mainly came down with control and such, and Flippy kind of had that in the bag toward the end. I mean, yeah, even though Flippy's flipper was broken during that time, which now it's not anymore, kids, so keep that in mind. Flippy goes through to the final. Now next up, we've got Hardware versus Mortal Enemy. 3, 2, 1... activate. Let the battle begin. Mortal Enemy up to speed, and in comes the rookie Hardware. Well, will we really say a rookie? Let's just rip the band-aid off right now. Hardware aiming right for the front of Mortal Enemy. That's their goal. Just aim straight for the weapon and take care. Mortal Enemy being shunted into the wall by Hardware, but they're stuck on the wedge. Can they get free? Yeah, they can. Their lifter is finally coming into play. If Duck is ever in this, he better take notes of what Hardware is doing. Or I think if anything, Hardware said they took notes from Duck. So, who knows? It could just be an all-out lifter warfare at some point if Hardware moves on. And from the look of how they're doing so far, it's pretty good. And Mortal Enemy stuck on the wedge, but get free and they ram into the wall. Nice. Hardware pushing back. Mortal Enemy giving him a little spin and like a disco. And Mortal Enemy having a lot of control problems, like it had it ever since its fight with Mecha Bowser. Will that really affect them? I don't know. I really don't know. As Hardware trying to ease off Mortal Enemy, ME trying to do something, it doesn't even hit Hardware until now. Now they're pushed onto the wedge. Can they get free? They're trying. Hardware just eyeing them down. And they get free, but Hardware right there to, I was going to say capitalize, but didn't do anything there. Mortal Enemy still moving. A countdown might be, oh, never mind. I was going to say a countdown should be called for Hardware. And it was, but he escaped. Mortal Enemy doesn't really know what to do. And I don't think Hardware also doesn't have a plan as well. Because they can't really lift robots. That's kind of the problem. They can't lift. It's just like a major control bot that just ramps up other robots. So, yeah. Mortal Enemy trying to evade. Can Hardware take advantage of a somewhat weakened Mortal Enemy? They slowly are trying. Mortal Enemy gets the weapon back up and a nice hit right there to the front of Hardware's wedge. And another nice one. And again, Mortal Enemy landing in some wombo combos right now. Nice. Hardware trying to push back. He does. Mortal Enemy slowly but surely trundling along. It's going to go to a judge's decision. This is pretty close, but I might say Hardware might take it. Ladies and gentlemen, we have entered yet another judge's decision. They awarded it unanimously to the winner, Hardware. I don't know if it's just them sprinkling luck on Hardware, but it looks like he's just doing it. Taking out, I don't know, whatever. I kind of forgot. My mind is just done at this point. Anyways, we have our final set it up. Whoever wins will face Aquatic Disaster in the Bounty Final. And they both went through a lot. It's Flippy and Hardware. Let's begin. 3, 2, 1, activate. Let the final begin. The two lifters of this matchup, Flippy and the rookie, Hardware. Flippy, a renowned champion, a two-time high-seeded champion, now no longer that anymore. Flippy immediately loses a track. This is not a good start for Flippy. Hardware starting to crack the books right now. Well, you can't really do that, but
Flippy trying to evade hardware. Lifts up Flippy. How about this? The rookies doing their best job they can at pushing Flippy back. Whoa. I was not expecting that. Flippy slowly trundling along. How are they exactly going to capitalize with one track? Who knows? But they have done it for roughly 2 years. Maybe longer. So we'll see how they do. Flippy finally gets hardware into the clutches, but doesn't do much. Is Flippy starting to become a bit outdated now? I don't know. And the team of Flippy did say that they did fix their lifter problems, as you can tell. As Flippy being pushed back by hardware. Hardware is being a really good controlled robot so far in this little tournament. A nice lift again by Flippy. Hardware trying to get to the side of Flippy, but Flippy not entirely there to capitalize. I mean, they only got like 2-ish successful lifts, but they haven't done much with their lifter. Is it time for Flippy to go to the back to the drawing board once again after we'll stick to the same design for 2 seasons? Their lifter is stuck again. Well, I guess my answer was short-lived. Flippy being pushed back again by hardware. Hardware is dominating this whole field. And when we get to the bounty final with Aquatic Disaster, maybe he'll employ something like this. Wait for the robot to lose the track and then take the win and then just bully them around the arena. And like this, for instance, hardware pushing back Flippy. Can Flippy get off of hardware? They can, but they lost another track. Oh, God. Oh, no. Well, Flippy, they did it all their best. They gave it their best shot, but it wasn't enough. Hardware going to the bounty final. What a rush.
Well, people, the stage is finally set. Hardware is the bounty hunter who will be taking on the bounty Aquatic Disaster. This will definitely be a great fight. Hardware, the lifter who has went through a lot, and Aquatic Disaster looking for vengeance. Whoever goes through will go on to the main bracket with Kingslayer, Hypershock, and the newly crowned Gorilla. So, let's begin. 3, 2, 1, activate.
Let the bounty final begin. The hunter, hardware, and the bounty Aquatic Disaster taking off the top panel of hardware to start the fight. Hardware has been through a lot the past few fights, actually, and it all leads up to this. Can they win, or will Aquatic Disaster still show what it's made of? And being pushed back by hardware, can they lift Aquatic Disaster? They're straining right now. Aquatic Disaster, that weapon is actually hindering them from flipping over. So that's something hardware continues to shine Aquatic Disaster, but just can't lift them over. Aquatic Disaster lives to tell the tale once again. And hardware, well, maybe they're going to have to employ a different strategy. Maybe take off the tracks. Because it worked for them against Flippy, although it kind of just did it by itself, but whatever. Hardware, pushing around Aquatic Disaster. Can they win the fight? That's the question. Aquatic Disaster up to speed, and hardware pushing back AD across the arena. It was the first New Blood champion, and then the second was Aquatic Disaster. Or no, was Agrawalba, but Komodo Dragon should have really won that. Let's be honest, people. Ugh, excuse me. Aquatic Disaster being pushed back again by hardware. Hardware is stuck on their top panel. Are they gonna get free? They're trying. Aquatic Disaster there to keep a watchful eye on him. Oh, they're moving, but I don't think they can really get free. A countdown is pursued on hardware if they don't get free, and it's done. Hardware is out, and Aquatic Disaster lives on.
And well, thank you for tuning in to Hexbots Hunters 2. This was definitely something Not entirely fresh because we did this last year, obviously. So, well, congratulations to Aquatic Disaster. So he will move on to the Big 8 bracket with Hypershock, Gorilla, and Kingslayer. So that means our next bounty for the next episode tomorrow will be Manta Ray, the 2024 4th of July Special Champion. We'll see you next time, whenever that'll be.